Hey, this is Heidi Dawson. If you love all things health and wellness and style of any kind, hang out here with me each week. I'm obsessed with never-ending improvement, and it's all in an effort to help each one of us live a wildly successful lifestyle. Subscribe today so you don't miss a thing.
Hi, guys. Welcome to episode 394 of the Wildly Successful Lifestyle Podcast. Thank you, as always, for hanging out with me. Sometimes I feel like I tell you guys about my life and I think, man, that makes me look like a jerk. But I tell it anyway because I am growing from these realizations that I'm having, and I hope that it helps you grow too. I had a friend this week tell me how sometimes when she's upset with her husband, or she's upset, her husband gets upset with her because she's upset. And now everybody's super upset, and it feels like her bad day has gone from bad to worse. Do you guys ever do that? Like the person you love is having a bad day, which in turn makes you have a bad day. And now it feels like a war zone with landmines everywhere you step. Why do we do that? I mean, she's not the only one experiencing that, of course. I could totally relate with her husband. I find myself doing the same thing with my husband. And I talk about Eric a lot, my husband, mainly because he really is amazing. And I feel like I hit the lottery most of the time. I'd say 95% of the time. And then there is the roughly 5% where I love him always, but that 5%, sometimes I find it hard to like him. It's been a little extra crazy around here with our little Kinsey being sick every other day, literally. So Eric is having to deal with a lot of stress from work, and there's been a few days where he's been, let's say, less than fun. That's a nice way to put it. So the other day was one of those days of struggle. He was having a bad day, which I noticed I was also letting it turn into me having a bad day. I almost canceled my workout with Kevin, my trainer. That's how not good of a day it was turning out to be. But in a wildly successful lifestyle, you don't just skip a workout because you don't feel like doing it, right? I knew I'd be better if I went. I just didn't realize Eric would be better if I went too. You guys hear about my trainer, Kevin, a lot. I know, because he's a big part of both mine and Eric's life. He is a wonderful physical coach, but even more than that, for me especially, he is a really, really good mindset coach. Everyone needs a mindset coach. We've been working out together for almost 7 years. He knows me pretty well by now, to the point to where when I show up struggling, I cannot hide it. So I get to my workout after almost canceling, and he could see something was off. So he's like, okay, let's just hit me with it. What's up? So I told him my sad little story of how Eric was grumpy because of stress at work and the stress both of us are under with Kinsey. And when he's grumpy like that, I don't want to be around him. And Kevin listened, and like he always does. And when I was done, he just looked at me and he said, "Isn't that interesting? You don't want to be around him right when he needs you the most." And a little pain shot through my heart, and I thought, ouch, he's so right. And I knew it. I just didn't see it that way at the time because I was thinking about how his mood was affecting me, not how I could make his day better. Once again, I'm doing that human thing of seeing everything through the lens of me and making his bad day about me. I want things to always be happy, so I get irritated when he's irritated. But why can't he have a bad day without me making it about me? He doesn't get that way very often. So how do I be there for him instead of meeting him where he is? You see, in my mind, I blamed him for me not wanting to be around him when he was grumpy, when really he just needed a minute and wanted to feel seen and loved. I was making it all about me when it really had nothing to do with me. So when I got back home from the gym after my conversation with Kevin, instead of hiding out in another room to avoid him, which normally would be the case, I said, "Hey, we both just worked out. Let's take a bath and relax and spend a little time together before you go to work. What do you think?" Which made him have this big smile on his face, and he said, "I would love that." And that's what we did, which made both of us enjoy the rest of the day, and it sort of snowballed good decisions for both of us because we were so happy to have flipped the script from where it was heading. It literally changed how our week went. Now, my normal response would have been to avoid conflict or pain by staying in another room or going shopping or something, which would have us avoiding each other until he left for work. And then by the time he got back home the next day, we would both be over it. But just like everything you do consistently, that can become a habit too. Their bad day isn't about you, so don't make it that way. And I think it's more prevalent for me that I do this more than I realize. I mean, today is the 1-year anniversary of my big sister's husband dying. And so I brought her here to visit me for a few days to give her sort of a change of pace, that's needed. Well, I noticed my thoughts yesterday went to how hard today was going to be and how I didn't want to feel sad all day. But she's going to be so sad, which makes me so sad. But you see, that's me meeting her where she is instead of just being there for her and raising her energy where I can. So how do I do that? Well, for starters, by not making it about me. I brought her here to cheer her up, and that's what I'll do. No matter how much I want to run from the sadness, I certainly won't, because that's when she needs me the most. More than likely, you have a habit of how you respond to conflict with those you love the most, which means nothing's going to change unless you change. I know now that I tend towards making it about me when it isn't about me at all. And I get to actively choose if I'm going to meet them where they are by joining in on their sadness or their anger or their bad moment, or if I'm going to be a force for good for them. That's my choice. When someone's having a bad day, that's when they need you the most. My challenge to you today is to remember that the people we love are going to have bad days. And it does not have to mean we have a bad day too. Be a force for good when they need it the most. Share this with 3 people who are a force for good. I love you guys. I'll talk to you in a few days.
Don't forget to subscribe and share with your friends, because we're just going to keep going bigger and better places together. And I love that about us. Talk to you in a few days.